Morning came slowly on Voron 5. The pale green sky brightened as twin suns rose over the horizon. Casting soft light across the jagged terrain, the human team stirred in their small camp, their eyes drawn repeatedly to the massive Vrillian tank that loomed nearby. Though it remained motionless, a quiet energy hummed around it, almost as if it were waiting for something or someone. Lieutenant Mara Vance was the first to rise. She had spent most of the night reviewing the tank's systems, her portable scanner still glowing faintly. Each reading confirmed what she had suspected. The tank was not truly dead. Its core energy was stable, its circuits intact, and its intelligence dormant but responsive. "Morning," Captain Elias Thorne said, his voice calm but tinged with curiosity. He joined Mara near the tank, looking at the glowing symbols that pulsed rhythmically across its armor. "Did it do anything overnight?" Mara shook her head. "Nothing aggressive, just small adjustments. It's like it was testing the area, learning about our presence. The readings suggest it recognizes us as different from the Vrillians." Rico Han, the scout, rubbed his eyes and leaned against a rock. "I still don't like it. Machines that think are unpredictable. What if it decides we're a threat?" Mara smiled faintly. "That's why we have to approach it carefully. Understanding comes before action. If we show it we're not a threat, it could cooperate. And if humans can cooperate with this, we could learn more about Vrillian technology than any other species ever has." Dr. Lena Gray stepped closer, her hands folded nervously. "Cooperate with a war machine. I never thought I'd say this, but that feels strange." "Strange, yes," Mara said, "but also exciting. Remember, the Vrillians designed this tank to operate intelligently on its own. If it can understand a human mind, even partially, it might do things we can't predict. That's not dangerous potential." Elias studied Mara for a long moment. He had learned that her instincts often led to breakthroughs. "All right," he said finally. "You take the lead. We'll observe and support, but no unnecessary risks." Mara nodded. She stepped closer to the tank, her scanner in hand. She touched a panel near the base of the massive machine. The glowing lines pulsed brighter in response, tracing a pattern that reminded her of a heartbeat. The hum that had been steady overnight became more pronounced, filling the air with a low, vibrating sound. Mara said, "It's responding to us. Not aggressively, but intentionally." Rico frowned. "What exactly is it doing?" "It's acknowledging our presence," Mara explained. "Like it's aware we're here, but it's waiting for a signal. Something deliberate. It doesn't understand human commands yet, but it can sense our intent." Mara connected a small energy module from her kit to the tank's input port. Tiny sparks ran along the wires, and the symbols on the hull shifted, forming a pattern that seemed almost like a greeting. Dr. Gray gasped softly. "It's communicating." Mara nodded. "In a way, not with words, but with energy patterns. It's curious about us, and curiosity is something humans can respond to." Elias watched in awe as Mara guided her hand along the glowing circuits. "Curious. That's new for a war machine. Most are built to destroy, not question." "Yes," Mara said, "and that's what makes this different. The Vrillians built intelligence into it, but they never expected a human mind to interact with it. That's our advantage." For the next several hours, Mara worked methodically. She tested different energy frequencies, observed the tank's responses, and noted patterns in its glowing symbols. Slowly, the massive machine began to react more noticeably. Its turret shifted slightly, as if scanning the area. Mechanical limbs adjusted, clearing dust and debris from its joints. Each movement was careful, deliberate, almost cautious. Rico leaned closer, whispering to Elias, "It's like it's waking up." "Yes," Mara said softly, without looking up. "And it's intelligent. It's analyzing us, learning our energy signatures. It can differentiate humans from Vrilliant influence. That's why it hasn't attacked." Dr. Gray, still nervous, asked, "But what if it doesn't like us? What if it decides we're a threat after all this?" Mara paused, glancing at her friend. "Then we step back. But so far, every sign shows curiosity, not aggression. It's waiting for someone to guide it. That someone is human. By late morning, the tank had begun small movements that astonished the team. Its massive treads, long dormant, shifted slightly as if testing the ground. The turret rotated in slow arcs, scanning the horizon. Every system pulsed in synchronization with the tank's low hum, giving it a sense of rhythm. Elias finally spoke, his voice steady, but filled with wonder. "Mara, it's like a living creature. It's aware, but also cautious, like it's trying to understand us." Mara smiled. "Exactly. And that's why humans can work with it. We think creatively, not rigidly. The Varelians made it smart, but we can teach it something they never imagined: adaptability." Hours passed as the team observed, taking notes and adjusting Mara's settings. Slowly, the Varelian tank began to perform simple tasks. It cleared rocks from its path, aligned its systems with the energy modules, not even adjusted its sensors to focus on the humans. The glowing symbols flickered in complex patterns, almost like it was learning their faces. Rico muttered, "I don't know if I should be impressed or terrified." "You should be impressed," Mara said, her eyes still glued to her scanner. "This is history. Humans are awakening a machine designed by another species, and it's responding to us. That's something no one else has ever done." By mid-afternoon, the team had formed a cautious routine. Mara would adjust a setting, observe the tank's reaction, and record data. The tank responded in kind, moving slightly or pulsing its energy lines. The Varelian machine's behavior was methodical, yet adaptive. It was not rigid, and that gave the humans confidence. Suddenly, the tank emitted a soft, melodic hum that was unlike anything the team had heard before. It was almost musical, a pattern of tones that seemed deliberate. Mara's eyes widened. "It's trying to communicate in more complex ways." "This isn't random." Elias leaned closer. "So what does it mean?" Mara shook her head. "I don't know yet. But it's aware of our presence, our intent, and now it's trying to reach out. That's extraordinary." Rico glanced nervously at the massive machine. "Reach out? With what? Weapons?" Mara laughed softly. "No. With curiosity. It's learning that we're different from the Vrelians. That's why it hasn't attacked. And if we continue carefully, it might become an ally instead of a threat." Dr. Gray let out a small laugh, tension finally easing from her shoulders. "An ally. A Vrelian tank. I never thought I'd hear myself say that." The sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the barren battlefield. The Vrelian tank's glow intensified, responding to the fading light. Its movements became more confident, less cautious, almost as if it were stretching after a long sleep. Mara stepped back, observing it with satisfaction. "Tomorrow," she said, "we'll try something bigger. If it continues responding, we can attempt to guide its movements more directly. Humans can teach it new ways to think, new ways to solve problems." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. "Just remember, curiosity is powerful, but patience is essential. This machine is enormous and intelligent. One wrong step could be messy." Mara nodded, already thinking ahead. "I know, but patience is part of the process. And the reward. The reward could change everything." As night fell over Voron 5, the tank remained alert, its systems alive and humming softly. The humans set up camp nearby, each of them pondering the possibilities. This was no ordinary war machine. It was a creation of another species, awakened by human curiosity and ingenuity. And somewhere deep within its circuits, it seemed to sense that humans were different, that they could think in ways the Vrelians never anticipated. For the first time, the team felt the thrill of discovery. Not just discovery of alien technology, but discovery of humanity's potential. If they could guide this tank, understand it, and work with it, then humans could accomplish what no other species had. Turn an enemy's weapon into a symbol of human ingenuity and hope. Mara sat by her scanner, watching the glowing lines on the tank. "Sleep well," she whispered softly. "Tomorrow, we begin the next step." The tank's hum continued into the night, a gentle, rhythmic sound. It was no longer just a machine. It was aware. It was learning. And it was ready to meet the humans who had awakened it. The next morning on Voron 5, the green sky glimmered softly over the jagged landscape. The human team returned to the Virelian tank with renewed determination. Overnight, the tank's hum had shifted slightly, a subtle sign that its systems were learning, reacting to the human's presence. Lieutenant Mara Vance approached the tank with her portable scanner. She touched the glowing panels carefully, feeling the soft vibrations that pulsed beneath her fingers. "It's ready," she murmured. "Yesterday, it was awake. Today, it's learning." Captain Elias Thorne surveyed the area, keeping a careful watch. "Learning how to move, or learning about us?" he asked. Mara smiled faintly. "Both. These machines were built to adapt. They can repair themselves, reroute power, and even anticipate threats. But they weren't designed to understand humans. That's our advantage." Sergeant Rico Hahn shifted uneasily. "So we're going to teach it?" "Yes," Mara said, "but not like a teacher. We guide it. Show it what humans can do differently from Vrillians." Dr. Lena Gray tilted her head. "And what exactly does that mean?" "It means," Mara said, "that this tank can do more than follow orders. It can solve problems creatively. If humans operate it, we can take it beyond its original programming." Elias nodded slowly. "Then let's be careful. Observation first. Testing second." Mara activated her portable control module and attached it to the tank. The glowing lines on its armor flared brightly in response. For a moment, the entire machine seemed to pulse with life, as if it had been waiting for this connection. "All right," Mara said. "Let's start small." She pressed a series of buttons and gestures, sending simple commands through the energy interface. The tank's turret rotated smoothly, scanning the landscape. Its treads shifted, testing the ground. Each movement was cautious, but deliberate. Rico's eyes widened. "It's following your instructions." Mara nodded. "It's not just following. It's learning how to respond. Watch this." She adjusted the control module, presenting the tank with a small obstacle, a pile of rocks. The tank paused, sensors scanning the pile. Then, instead of moving around it like a normal machine, it carefully lifted the rocks with mechanical arms and placed them aside. Dr. Gray gasped. "It's solving problems." "That's incredible." Mara smiled. "Exactly. The Virilians designed intelligence, but not imagination. Humans think differently. That's what it's responding to." Elias leaned closer, eyes narrowing in thought. "So you're saying we can teach it things the Virilians never imagined?" "Yes," Mara replied. "And that's why it's important to proceed carefully. Every move we make teaches it something new." For the next several hours, the team experimented with different commands. They guided the tank over uneven terrain, through narrow valleys, and around treacherous cliffs. Each time, the tank adapted in ways that astonished them. It lifted fallen boulders, tested the stability of the ground before moving, and even adjusted its sensors to focus on the human's movements. Rico muttered, "It's like it's thinking ahead, like it knows what we want before we tell it." "Exactly," Mara said. "That's the advantage of human intuition. We don't follow rigid protocols. We improvise. And the tank is learning to do the same." Dr. Gray shook her head in disbelief. "I never imagined humans could awaken a machine like this." "It's beautiful." Mara laughed softly. "It's more than beautiful. It's proof that humans can take something built by another species and make it better, smarter, more adaptive." As the day went on, the tank's intelligence became increasingly apparent. Mara tested a more complex task, navigating a narrow canyon with unstable cliffs. She guided the tank slowly, monitoring its responses. At first, it paused at every obstacle, scanning and calculating. But soon, it began predicting which rocks might fall, adjusting its movements to avoid danger. Elias watched with admiration. "It's anticipating problems, not just reacting. That's human-like thinking." Mara nodded. "Yes. And that's why the Vrelians underestimated humans. Our creativity and adaptability allow us to teach this machine things it was never designed to understand. By mid afternoon, the team noticed something new. The tank had begun to respond even before Mara sent commands. Its sensors tracked their positions automatically. Its arms moved to clear paths without instruction, and it adjusted its systems to optimize performance. The humans realized the tank was no longer just following. They were influencing its thought process. Rico laughed nervously. "I think it's learning teamwork," as Mara said, "and that's remarkable. Teamwork, adaptability, and intuition. Humans can operate this machine in ways the Virillians never imagined. It's a perfect example of why we can compete with any species in the galaxy." Dr. Gray observed the glowing panels carefully. "It's almost like it's alive in a different way. Not biological life, but intelligent life." Mara nodded. "Exactly. And that's why it matters. Humans can awaken potential where others see only machines." As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the jagged terrain, Mara decided to test the tank's limits. She presented it with a complex problem: a series of fallen trees blocking a path through a narrow canyon. She instructed the tank to clear the way without damaging the surrounding environment. The machine paused, scanning the obstacle. Then, with careful precision, it lifted and moved each tree, one by one, using its mechanical arms. When a branch threatened to fall, the tank adjusted instantly, keeping the humans safe. Rico whispered, "It's thinking about safety too? It's protecting us," as Mara said softly. "It's learning responsibility in its own way. Humans teach it that our lives matter. That's something the Virillians never considered." Elias placed a hand on Mara's shoulder. "You've done something extraordinary, not just for us, but for humanity." Mara glanced at the tank, now moving confidently through the canyon. "It's only the beginning. Tomorrow, we'll test it in more challenging situations. And each time, it will learn more, adapt more. Humans have an advantage the Virillians never imagined: creativity, intuition, and courage." As night fell, the tank's glow softened, pulsing like a gentle heartbeat. The humans set up camp nearby, exhausted but exhilarated. For the first time, they realized the true potential of what they had discovered. This was not just a machine. It was a partner. Rico glanced at the tank, awe in his eyes. "I never thought I'd see a machine like this. Working with humans." Dr. Gray smiled. "It's amazing. And it's all because we approached it with curiosity, not fear." Mara leaned back, scanning the glowing panels one last time before sleep. "Tomorrow, we push it further. Not recklessly, but with care. Humans can teach it, and it can teach us. Together, we can achieve things the Virillians never imagined." Elias looked at the tank and then at the team. "This is only the beginning. But one thing is clear: humans are capable of more than anyone believed. And this tank, it's proof of that." As the twin moons of Vorn 5 rose, the tank's soft hum echoed through the canyon, a rhythm of intelligence and awakening. It had responded to human ingenuity, curiosity, and courage. And somewhere within its complex circuits, it seemed to understand these humans were different. They could think creatively, solve problems, and adapt. And for the first time, the Virillian tank had a partner it could trust. The journey back to the human settlement was tense. Liam guided the alien vehicle with care, keeping low and moving through the winding canyons to avoid detection. The desert was quiet, but he could feel the tension in the air. Every shadow, every shift of sand seemed to hold a hidden threat. Alien forces would not forget his presence so easily. They had scouts, drones, and possibly more advanced observers that could track the faint energy signatures of the vehicle. Despite the danger, Liam could not help but feel exhilaration. He had survived the first real test. He had piloted a semi-sentient alien machine, dodged attacks, and learned its incredible capabilities. It was not just a weapon, it was a partner, responsive and intuitive, learning alongside him. His mind was still buzzing from the experience. but he knew that what came next could change humanity forever. As the settlement appeared in the distance, Liam slowed the vehicle. The small cluster of buildings looked ordinary, but he knew it was about to witness something extraordinary. People milling about the streets paused, staring at the glowing, humming vehicle that moved like it had a life of its own. Liam guided it into a wide-open area near the central building and carefully powered it down to avoid unnecessary attention. Curious onlookers approached cautiously. The villagers and engineers recognized Liam, but the alien vehicle stunned them into silence. Its surface shimmered with faint light, and strange panels and holograms floated around it. Children whispered to their parents, elders stepped back, and the settlement's small security force approached with caution, unsure whether to greet it as a friend or fear it as a threat. Liam stepped out of the cockpit, trying to explain, though his own words felt inadequate. It's a vehicle alien, but it can help us if we learn to understand it. His voice trembled slightly, but he felt confident in what he had discovered. Scientists and engineers quickly gathered, eyes wide with curiosity. They circled the vehicle, touching its panels, trying to decipher the glowing symbols. Liam patiently guided them, showing them how it responded to thought patterns and gestures. Slowly, people began to understand that this machine was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It was not just powerful, it was intelligent in a way that humans could communicate with. Word spread quickly. By evening, the settlement was filled with scientists, engineers, and observers from nearby colonies. Everyone wanted to see the alien vehicle. It became clear that this discovery was unprecedented. Liam, once a naive human exploring the desert, was now at the center of something far bigger. Humanity had found a weapon, a tool, to partner beyond anything they had ever imagined. Colonial leaders arrived the next day, their faces a mix of awe and disbelief. Military strategists studied the vehicle carefully, noting its speed, maneuverability, and apparent semi-sentience. "If this can be replicated," one officer said, "humanity could defend itself against threats we thought impossible." Liam demonstrated the vehicle's defensive systems, showing how it absorbed energy pulses and deflected attacks. The crowd gasped as he moved it in complex patterns through the open area, dodging simulated projectiles. Even untrained civilians could see that this was no ordinary technology. Humanity had been given a chance to change its future, but not everyone was calm. Some scientists cautioned that alien technology could be unpredictable, even dangerous. "We don't fully understand it," one engineer warned. "If we misuse it, we could trigger something we cannot control." Liam nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. He had learned quickly, but he was still human, still inexperienced. Every choice carried weight. Despite these warnings, the vehicle itself seemed to cooperate. It responded calmly to Liam's commands, moving with precision, learning from every interaction. It had become more than a machine. It was a partner that trusted him, and in that partnership lay the hope of humanity, proof that humans could adapt, innovate, and use intelligence in ways even alien species might not expect. As the days passed, Liam continued testing and training with the vehicle. He taught small groups of engineers and soldiers how to operate its basic systems, showing them how to communicate with it through gestures and thought patterns. Progress was slow, but steady. The vehicle was powerful, but it required creativity, intuition, careful thought qualities humans possessed in abundance. Meanwhile, alien forces were not idle. Scanners picked up unusual energy fluctuations near the settlement, and reports suggested that scouts had observed the human-controlled vehicle. Liam realized that the aliens would respond, and soon. Their technology was advanced, but humans had one advantage they might not anticipate: ingenuity. Humans could improvise, think unpredictably, and adapt to situations that aliens might consider impossible. One evening, Liam walked outside the workshop, looking at the desert horizon. The vehicle hummed softly beside him, lights pulsing in rhythm with his thoughts. He reflected on everything that had happened, the discovery, the first tests, the lessons he had learned. Humanity was shocked by what he had found, but shock alone would not be enough. They would need courage, creativity, in unity to face what was coming. And then it happened. A faint shimmer appeared in the sky, barely noticeable at first. Liam's scanner beeped frantically. Alien scouts, more than ever before, were approaching. This was no casual observation. They were coming with intent, and Liam knew that the settlement might be in danger. He quickly climbed into the cockpit, feeling the familiar hum beneath him. The vehicle reacted instantly, shields activating and lights glowing brighter. Liam took a deep breath and focused, guiding it through maneuvers he had practiced endlessly. But this was different. The scouts were faster, smarter, and coordinated. Liam realized he would need more than instinct and intuition this time. He needed strategy. The aliens attacked in waves, testing the vehicle's responses. Liam guided it through evasive patterns, using energy pulses to disrupt the scouts' systems. The settlement watched in awe as the vehicle moved with fluid precision, dodging attacks and countering with controlled bursts of energy. Liam's heart pounded, but he remained calm. The machine seemed to sense his resolve, responding faster and more accurately than ever before as the battle continued. Liam realized that the aliens had underestimated humanity. They expected panic, hesitation, and weakness. Instead, they faced a naive human who had become something more: a thinker, strategist, and a pilot capable of mastering technology far beyond human norms. The aliens' attacks were precise, but Liam's creativity and quick thinking allowed him to stay one step ahead. By nightfall, the aliens retreated, leaving the desert quiet once more. The settlement erupted in celebration and amazement. Humanity had survived not through brute strength, but through intelligence, adaptability, and courage. Liam stepped out of the cockpit, exhausted but exhilarated. The vehicle hummed softly, almost as if acknowledging the human's achievement. Scientists and leaders gathered around, studying the vehicle and Liam's tactics. It was clear that this event would change the course of human history. Humanity had been shown that they were not powerless, that even a naive human could wield alien technology in ways that astonished even seasoned observers. Liam felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. He had discovered something incredible, survived his first real battle, proven that humans could rise to challenges beyond their imagination. But he also knew that this was only the beginning. Alien forces would return, and humanity would need to be prepared not just to survive, but to show that their ingenuity and courage were forces to be reckoned with. As he looked at the stars above the desert, Liam realized that this partnership, the bond between human and alien technology, was a symbol of hope. Humanity had been shocked by what he had found, but shock was only the start. Innovation, courage, and adaptability would define their path forward. And in that moment, Liam understood something vital. Humans were capable of extraordinary things. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the alien vehicle lay still beside him, dormant yet alive, waiting for the next command. Liam knew that their journey was far from over, but humanity had been shown a glimpse of what was possible. And with determination, creativity, and courage, they could rise to any challenge the galaxy might present. The settlement began preparations for the future. Engineers studied the vehicle, strategists planned defenses, and citizens marveled at the possibilities. Liam continued his training, teaching others to understand and respect the alien technology. Humanity was beginning to realize that their true strength lay not in weapons alone, but in intelligence, ingenuity, and the willingness to adapt, and somewhere far beyond the desert. Alien forces noted the unexpected developments. A naive human had awakened their weapon. A human had survived, adapted, and learned to control it. The aliens had underestimated humanity, and that would be their mistake. For Liam, the path ahead was clear. He would continue learning, continue teaching, and continue defending humanity. The alien vehicle was more than a discovery, it was a symbol of what humans could achieve. Even a single human, armed with curiosity, courage, and intelligence, could shock the galaxy. The desert was quiet, but the future was anything but. Humanity had been awakened to its potential, and the galaxy would soon take notice. Liam. The morning air on Voron 5 was sharp and crisp, carrying a faint scent of minerals from the jagged terrain. The human team awoke with anticipation. Today would be the first true test of the Virillian tank under real conditions. Mara Vance, as always, was the first to rise, her mind already racing with possibilities. "This is it," she said quietly to herself. "Today, we see how far it can go." Captain Elias Thorne gathered the team. "We've tested basic movement and problem solving," he said. "But now it's time to see how it handles challenges we can't fully predict. Remember, our goal isn't to fight, it's to observe and guide. Safety first, always." Rico Hahn nodded, though unease still lingered in his expression. "If it reacts wrong, we could be in trouble." Mara smiled softly. "Or we could discover just how adaptable humans can be. That's the point." The team led the tank toward a narrow canyon, the path strewn with obstacles, fallen rocks, broken alien machinery, and sharp cliffs. The canyon was treacherous. Only careful planning could prevent mishaps. "Let's start with observation," Mara said. "I want the tank to navigate this canyon without guidance first. Let's see how it adapts on its own." The tank's treads rumbled softly as it began its cautious descent. At first, it moved slowly, scanning every rock and crevice. Its mechanical arms shifted debris, and its sensors calculated angles and stability. The humans watched, hearts pounding with excitement. "Look at that," Dr. Gray whispered. "It's making decisions without instructions," yes, Mara said. "It's using the intelligence the Verlians built, but notice how it hesitates at tricky spots. That's where human guidance can make a difference." Elias nodded. "We give it freedom to think, but we intervene only when necessary." As the tank moved deeper into the canyon, a section of unstable rocks gave way. Normally, a Vrillian machine would have tried to force its way through, risking damage. But the tank paused, sensors flickering, then carefully rerouted its path, avoiding the danger entirely. Rico muttered, "It's thinking ahead." "That's incredible." Mara's eyes sparkled. "It's learning patterns, anticipating obstacles. But notice how its choices are cautious. That's where human creativity can expand its thinking. We can show it multiple solutions, not just one rigid path." Encouraged, Mara decided to test the tank further. She guided it toward a series of alien wrecks blocking the path. The tank paused, analyzing the debris. Instead of simply removing obstacles like before, it lifted pieces strategically, stacking them to create a temporary bridge over a small chasm. Dr. Gray gasped. "It's improvising." "Yes," Mara said. "It's thinking in ways the Vrulians never intended. That's what humans bring to the table: adaptability, intuition, and creativity." The team continued deeper into the canyon. Suddenly, a massive boulder shifted, threatening to block their path completely. The tank reacted instantly, using its arms to support the rock and stabilize it. Then it repositioned smaller rocks, creating a safe passage for the team. Elias stepped closer to Mara. "It's protecting us." "That's not just intelligence, it's awareness." Mara nodded. "Humans can teach machines more than tasks. We teach them priorities, what matters and what doesn't. The Vrelians built intelligence to follow orders. Humans teach understanding." As the day progressed, the tank faced increasingly difficult challenges. Narrow ledges, steep inclines, and unstable cliffs tested its problem-solving abilities. Each time it adapted, sometimes hesitating, sometimes improvising solutions that surprised the team. Rico laughed nervously. "I can't believe this. It's like a student learning faster than the teacher." "Yes," Mara agreed, "and the teacher, in this case, is human ingenuity. That's why the Virelians underestimated us. We don't just follow patterns, we create them." Suddenly, the team spotted movement on the cliffs above. A small scouting party of Vrillians had noticed the tank and humans. Their intention was unclear, but their presence added tension. Elias whispered, "We need to be careful. They're observing us." Mara studied the tank's sensors. It sees them too. And it's curious. It doesn't recognize them as immediate threats yet, but it's alert. Dr. Gray's voice trembled slightly. "So what do we do?" "Let's guide it," Mara said. We show it how humans handle unexpected situations. The Vrelian scouts moved closer, scanning the humans in the tank. Mara initiated a series of commands, signaling the tank to adjust its position defensively, but without aggression. The tank shifted smoothly, placing obstacles between itself and the scouts while keeping the humans safe. Rico's eyes widened. It's protecting us again. Without being told to attack? Yes, Mara said, smiling. That's the difference. Humans teach machines priorities, not just orders. It's learning what matters to us. The scouts, realizing the humans were not retreating and the tank was unusually active, paused. Their behavior was rigid and predictable, following protocol. But the tank, guided by human ingenuity, adapted to their movements, creating subtle barriers, maintaining position and keeping the humans safe. Elias whispered to Mara, "It's outsmarting them without a single strike." Mara nodded. "Yes, that's what humans do best. We don't just follow rules. We improvise. We adapt. We solve problems creatively." For hours, the team continued navigating the canyon. The Vrelian scouts eventually retreated, unable to predict or counter the human-tank collaboration. The humans realized the true value of what they had accomplished. The tank was not only intelligent, but capable of learning human strategies. By late afternoon, they reached the edge of the canyon. The tank's treads rolled confidently over the terrain, sensors adjusting constantly. The glowing lines on its armor pulsed rhythmically, as if it were satisfied with its progress. Mara stepped back, scanning the results. Today proved something incredible. Humans can teach machines more than their original creators imagined. Intelligence is powerful, but adaptability is even stronger. Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. This is beyond anything I expected. Not just survival, but partnership. Humanity has shown the Vrelians that we can think differently. That's something they never prepared for. Dr. Gray smiled, awe in her eyes. It's amazing. We didn't just activate a tank. We helped it discover new possibilities. Rico laughed, relief evident in his voice. And it kept us safe the entire time. I think I can finally believe in this machine. And in humans, as the twin moons rose in the sky, casting silver light over the jagged landscape. The tank's hum became a steady, reassuring rhythm. It was no longer a dormant weapon of war. It was a partner, a creation reborn under human guidance. Mara sat by her scanner, watching the glowing panels. We've only just begun. Tomorrow, we'll test it further, push it to adapt to new challenges. Humans and this machine together. We're unstoppable in ways the Vrelians never imagined. Elias looked at the team, pride shining in his eyes. This is more than a machine. It's proof. Humans can take what others think is impossible and make it possible. And it all started with curiosity. The tank remained alert, its sensors scanning the terrain, adjusting systems, and learning silently. Somewhere deep within its circuits, it seemed to understand that humans were different. They did not follow blindly. They created solutions, thought creatively, and faced challenges with courage. And for the first time, the humans on Voron 5 felt the power of their own potential reflected in a machine that could think, adapt, and work alongside them. Mara whispered softly to the tank, "Rest for now. Tomorrow, we reach even further. Together, we can do what no one thought possible." The tank's glow pulsed gently in response, a quiet promise of the intelligence and partnership that lay ahead. The dawn on Voron 5 was quiet, almost serene. With the pale green light of the morning spreading across the jagged landscape, the human team gathered near the massive Vrelian tank, their hearts steady but filled with anticipation. Today, they would test the full potential of the machine. What they learned could change humanity's future forever. Lieutenant Mara Vance examined her scanner one last time. "The tank has adapted well," she said. "It's more aware, more responsive. But today, we test it under conditions it hasn't seen before. Terrain, obstacles, and unpredictable events." Captain Elias Thorne nodded. "Remember, this isn't about attacking or fighting. It's about demonstrating what humans and ingenuity can achieve. Safety first, strategy second. Sergeant Rico Hahn rubbed his hands nervously. After yesterday, I feel a little braver. But this is going to be the real test. Dr. Lena Gray adjusted her glasses, a spark of excitement in her eyes. I can't wait to see it in action. It's already amazing, but I wonder how far it can go. The humans led the tank toward a vast field of broken alien machinery. The remains of old battles lay scattered across the plain, toppled towers, crumpled ships, and jagged metal debris. Mara's goal was simple: guide the tank through this chaotic terrain without a single collision or mishap, testing both its intelligence and its ability to cooperate with humans. The tank rumbled forward, its massive treads adjusting carefully to uneven ground. Its sensors scanned constantly, mapping the debris and predicting potential dangers. The glowing lines on its armor pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Mara guided the tank remotely at first, showing it the path. But then she decided to test how well it had learned human intuition. She stepped back and allowed the machine to navigate independently. The team held their breath. The tank paused at the first obstacle, a pile of twisted metal that blocked the path. It scanned, calculating angles and stability. Then, instead of clearing it in a single motion, it devised a clever approach. It moved pieces aside in stages, creating a safe path that required minimal effort and maintained the balance of surrounding debris, Rico whispered. It's thinking ahead, like a human would. Yes, Mara said softly. It's anticipating problems, not just reacting. That's the difference humans bring. The team continued observing as the tank faced increasingly complex challenges. A toppled tower blocked a narrow path, while scattered energy conduits sparked intermittently nearby. The tank paused, sensors flickering, then lifted the debris carefully. It rerouted its path to avoid the sparking conduits, adjusting its movement smoothly to keep the humans safe. Dr. Gray leaned forward in fascination. It's adapting constantly. Every movement is intelligent. Ada smiled. It's learning from our presence. It sees how humans solve problems and applies it. That's why we're teaching it something the Vrelians never considered: creative thought, adaptability, and awareness of life around it. As the sun climbed higher, the team noticed movement in the distance. A larger group of Vrelian scouts had arrived, likely drawn by the tank's activity. Their numbers were significant, and their formations precise. The humans in the tank would face their first true test of strategic thinking, Elias whispered. They're testing us, but the tank is ready. Let's show them what humans can do, Mara nodded. It's not about aggression. It's about adaptability. We guide, it executes. Humans and machine together. The tank moved forward, scanning the approaching scouts. It positioned itself strategically, using debris as cover while keeping a safe distance. Its sensors continuously analyzed the Vrelian movement patterns, adjusting its own position to maintain optimal observation and protection of the humans. Rico whispered, It's defending without fighting. It's amazing, yes, Mara said. It's learning priorities, protecting humans, avoiding unnecessary conflict, and using its intelligence to make decisions the Vrelians can't predict. The Vrelian scouts advanced, but the tank anticipated their moves. It shifted to block potential paths, moved obstacles strategically, and even created barriers that forced the scouts to hesitate. The humans watched in awe. Every maneuver was precise, deliberate, and unexpected. Dr. Gray whispered, They can't predict it. They're too rigid. Humans, and this machine, are too creative. Mara's eyes shone with excitement. Exactly. That's the lesson. Intelligence is not enough. Adaptability, creativity, and courage make humans exceptional. The Vrelians built a powerful machine, but they never expected humans to operate it with imagination. The Vrelian scouts eventually halted, realizing they could not predict or counter the combined human-tank strategy. Slowly, they withdrew, their rigid formations breaking as the humans and the tank demonstrated ingenuity and awareness beyond their expectations. Elias exhaled deeply. They've seen it. Humans aren't just survivors. They're thinkers, problem solvers, and leaders. Mara nodded, surveying the terrain. Today proved something important. The tank is not just a machine. It's a partner. Together, humans can achieve what no other species can anticipate. As the team returned to their camp, the Virillian tank followed smoothly, its glowing lines pulsing in harmony with the humans' movements. It had learned, adapted, and performed in ways that exceeded even Mara's expectations. Rico laughed softly. I still can't believe it. We activated a Virillian war machine, and now it's on our side, protecting us, learning from us. Dr. Gray smiled, a spark of wonder in her eyes. And all because we approached it with curiosity, not fear. Humans can turn challenges into opportunities. Mara sat beside the tank, scanning its systems one last time for the day. We've only just begun. The possibilities are endless. Humans can teach machines, guide intelligence, and create outcomes no one else could imagine. That's why we're exceptional. That's why humans are extraordinary. Elias joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. You've shown what humans can do. Not just survive, but lead. Not just operate, but create. The Virillians underestimated us, and today they saw why. The tank's sensors followed the humans, a subtle hum filling the air. It had become more than metal and circuits. It had become a symbol of what humans could achieve when curiosity, courage, and intelligence combined. Night fell on Voron 5. Twin moons rising over the horizon, casting silver light on the jagged terrain. The humans set up camp near the tank, exhaustion and excitement mingling in equal measure. For the first time, they felt the full weight of their discovery. Mara whispered softly to the tank, "Rest now. You've learned much today. But tomorrow we explore even further. Together, humans and machine can achieve the impossible." I think we've learned something too. Humans are more capable than anyone gave us credit for. Dr. Gray nodded. And this machine, it's proof. Proof that curiosity, creativity, and teamwork can unlock potential no one thought possible. Elias looked at the team, pride shining in his eyes. We came here to study alien technology. What we found was ourselves. Humans can think, adapt, and create. And when we work together, there's nothing we cannot achieve. The tank's glow pulsed softly in response, a silent acknowledgement of the humans' guidance and trust. It had become more than a machine. It was alive in a different way, capable of learning, adapting, and understanding. And it had learned that humans were exceptional, creative, and courageous. As the night settled over Voron 5, the team gazed at the stars above, dreaming of what the future might hold. The Virillian tank hummed quietly, its systems alive, ready for new challenges, and aware that it had found partners unlike any other. Mara smiled, feeling a warmth of pride and hope. Humans will reach further than the Virillians ever imagined. And this tank, this incredible machine, is proof. Proof that curiosity, courage, and ingenuity can awaken even the most unlikely allies. And somewhere deep within the Virillian tank's circuits, faint pulses of light echoed like a heartbeat, a quiet promise that humanity's potential was limitless.